All right, Vol fans, we're on to the 11th game of this college football season, and we got Utep this week. A game in which Tennessee's going to win. The question is, how much is Tennessee going to win? Tennessee is favored by 42 points. Tennessee needs to cover that. They need to win with style points right now, and they need a little help as well. First things first. Tennessee's got screwed in this whole college football playoff thing. This thing was horribly laid out. They gave automatic bids to some of these conferences that are just trash, that are just not very good teams. There are several teams in the SEC right now that will not even sniff the college football playoffs that are better than the Big 12 champion or the ACC champion or the Mountain West champion. It's ridiculous. It's the best team should get in this, and I'm a little bit salty about it. But anyway, Tennessee needs to take care of business. They played this Saturday at 1 o'clock against Utep. Utep's not a very good team, so Tennessee has a chance here to win some style points. Strength of schedule so far for these teams. Utep has played the 124th hardest schedule. Tennessee's played the 18th hardest schedule. Utep is 2-8. Tennessee is 8-2. Utep is coming off a 43-35 victory over Kennesaw State. Tennessee is coming off a 31-17 loss to Georgia. Tennessee is favored by 42 points in this game, and that's really the point of this the video. Will Tennessee cover that? How's Tennessee going to look? Well, I will tell you all that here in just a moment. Players to watch in this. Let's start first with UTEP, Skylar Locklear. He's thrown for 1,356 yards and 9 TDs. For the Tennessee Vols, Nico Iamaleava, 11 TDs, 4 interceptions, and 2,046 yards he's thrown for. For UTEP, Kenny Odom, the receiver, 642 reception yards, 7 TDs. For Tennessee, Dylan Sampson, 1,230 rushing yards and 21 TDs so far. For UTEP, Dorian Hopkins, 73 tackles and 2 interceptions. For Tennessee, James Pierce, 30 tackles, 5.5 sacks. So those are kind of the guys to be looking in this game who will make an impact, who I have singled out. Now let's get right to the comparisons for both these teams. UTEP offense versus the Tennessee defense. Total offense for UTEP's 115th, 332 yards per game is what they're averaging. Not good. Tennessee's total defense is 9th, 290 yards per game allowed. Coming off the worst defensive game of the year for them, though, they almost allowed 400 yards through the air against Georgia. They were really exposed and looked really bad. Scoring offense for UTEP, 122nd. They're only averaging 19 points per game. Tennessee scoring defense is 8th, 14 points per game, but they are coming off a game in which they just allowed 31 points. Rushing offense for UTEP is 98th. 125 yards per game on the ground is what they're averaging. Rushing defense for Tennessee, 7th. They're allowing 101 yards per game on the ground. Passing offense for UTEP, 87th, 207 yards per game was what they're averaging through the air. Passing defense for Tennessee's 29th. They're allowing 189 yards per game. They really went back. They were 18th last week. They moved 11 spots down because they gave up almost 400 yards through the air to Carson back in Georgia. So now let's talk about the UTEP defense versus the Tennessee offense. Total defense for UTEP is 82nd. 383 yards per game is what they're allowing. Tennessee's total offense is 12th, 456 yards per game. But most of that damage is out of conference where they build up a lot of style points and a lot of yardage. In SEC play, it's been a much different story. Scoring defense for UTEP, 99th. They're giving up 30 points per game. Scoring offense for Tennessee, 18th, 36 points per game. Rushing defense for UTEP, 98th. They're giving up 171 yards per game. Rushing offense for Tennessee's 10th, 226 yards per game is what they're getting right now. It's a little bit misleading. You kind of look at those stats right there and you say the offensive line's blowing people off the ball. They're doing a great job blocking, but really, offensive line's not doing a really good job run blocking or pass blocking. Offensive line, to me, is underperformed this year for Tennessee in a lot of aspects. A lot of the yardage is just Dylan Sampson's will and determination to get extra yardage. That's where we have the stats that we have and the fact that we run it predominantly, so just more carries per game. Passing defense for Utep 58th. They're giving up 212 yards per game in the air. Tennessee's passing offense is 67th. They're averaging 230 yards per game. Really going backward. This team to start the year was top 10, top 5. They've slid all the way to 67th. It's a variety of issues. It was pass protection early in the year. Now it's more of receivers not helping Nico out in a lot of areas, not catching the ball. Sometimes Nico's overthrowing. Nico is playing a little better, but he's still not where he needs to be, and I think a lot of that's just because he's a freshman. So now let's get to turnover margin. UTEP, they're 65th. They're even. They're really not. They don't have an advantage or disadvantages so far, so they're pretty decent on turnover margin. They're not giving up a lot of turnovers, but they're not really getting any as well. Tennessee's -3, 46th. So decent year for Tennessee on turnover margin. So now let's talk about the prediction in this game. Okay. I think the over-under in this game is 52, and then Tennessee is favored by 42 points. And I'm going to give you both tips on what I think you should do in this game. Me personally, I'm going to take the over, and I'm going to take Tennessee to cover. Tennessee is averaging 64 points per game out of conference. Okay, they're not doing very well in conference, but UTEP's a really bad team. They're really bad defensively. And guess what? Tennessee needs style points this weekend. I think Heupel is going to do everything in his power to score about 60 points in this game. So I think Tennessee's going to get, they're going to pile up a lot of points. I think they cover the 52 points as far as the over-under, because I think UTEP will get probably at least one score. I think Tennessee goes over 50 points, so I like Tennessee to cover the 42 points and go over 52 for the over-under. Tennessee needs to look dominant. They need to look good because the committee is going to be taking a really close eye at them right now, and they need to look impressive. But anyway, that's my breakdown of the UTEP-Tennessee game this week. Tennessee needs to look impressive. They need a little help. We need Ole Miss, Army. We need Indiana to look bad, and Tennessee to take care of business the rest of the year and look impressive. But anyway, we'll see what happens, and I'll talk to you guys later.